The Taliban has issued a decree barring forced marriage in Afghanistan, saying women should not be considered property and must consent to marriage, but questions remain about whether the group that returned to power in mid-August would extend women's rights around work and education. The decree was announced on Friday by the reclusive Taliban chief, Hibatullah Akhundzada, who is believed to be in the southern city of Kandahar. Both women and men should be equal, said the decree, adding that no one can force women to marry by coercion or pressure. The decree did not mention a minimum age for marriage, which previously was set at 16 years old. The group also said a widow will now be allowed to remarry 17 weeks after her husband's death, choosing her new husband freely. The Taliban leader, Hibatullah Akhundzada, appears to insist upon these measures out of personal conviction and to assert his authority over the movement and the country. Neither his ideological views nor his quest for power will change in the near term, despite justifiably horrified reactions from around the world. It is pertinent to mention that since the Taliban took control of Kabul in August 2021, women and girls have been erased from public life and have had their civil, political, economic, social and cultural rights disregarded. In this context, there is an intense liquidity problem and currency shortage. Due to a dire economic situation, parents see selling the daughters into forced marriage as the only option to survive. In Afghanistan, the practice of forced marriage includes the betrothal of girls, especially under Pashtunwali, polygamy, the exchange of unmarried daughters between families, bard, whereby girls from several families are exchanged to settle debts or family disputes. Bard is practiced especially among the Pashtun community and in rural areas. In 2009, the Afghan government passed the Elimination of Violence Against Women Law (EVAW), which lists 22 crimes, including forced marriage and rape. In addition, according to Afghan civil law, as well as Islamic law, consent is required for marriage. Afghan civil law stipulates that the minimum age for marriage is 16 years. However, this rule has not been effectively implemented in practice. Long-standing tribal traditions have held it customary for a widow to marry one of her husband's brothers or relatives in the event of his death. The Taliban leadership says it has ordered Afghan courts to treat women fairly, especially widows seeking inheritance as next of kin. The group, which came to power in August, also said it had asked government ministers to spread awareness about women's rights across the population. The development was hailed as a significant step forward by two leading Afghan women, but questions remained about whether the group would extend women's rights around work and education. This is big, this is huge, if it is done as it is supposed to be. This is the first time they have come up with a decree like this, said Mahbooba Siraj, executive director of the Afghan Women's Skills Development Center, speaking from Kabul on a Foreign Media Next conference panel on Friday. The international community, which has frozen billions of dollars in funds for Afghanistan, has made women's and human rights a key element of any future engagement with Afghanistan. According to the different sources, such as who would ensure that girls' consent was not coerced by family members would be key. It's a very smart move on the part of Taliban at this point, because one of the pieces of news that is attracting the West's attention is the fact little girls are being sold as property to others in order to feed the rest of the family.